After the initial shock had passed, Whis decided to take action. In a strange twist of events, Babidi witnessed Whis seemingly reversing time. Just a moment ago, Zamasu appeared to be disintegrating into purple particles of light, and then into nothingness. Instead of collapsing into utter oblivion, being totally erased, the particles were now slowly reconstructing Zamasu. Goasu also seemed to be witnessing this, in the same temporal loop as everyone else, with Son Goku remaining unaware of what was happening. Was Whis actually reversing time? It was a question that Babidi couldn't help but ponder, because remember, in Resurrection F, we didn't have to do the time redo. This is the first time anyone's seeing this. "Oh, come on, Whis, we know it's him," said Beerus. Whis raised an eyebrow. "We also know that the one we faced had a time ring, while this one does not. Punishment should not befall someone before they commit the crime, Lord Beerus," he replied. Zamasu was now terrified of Beerus.
"What are you doing to my attendant, Beerus? Have you lost your mind?"
Goasu seemed incredibly shocked, but Beerus just glared at the older Kai.
"No, but you can check the mind of my wizard if you think we are lying," he said.
My lord! Babidi jumped. He hadn't consented to anyone reading his mind. He'd only just gotten over the fact that Piccolo would do it every now and again. There were private thoughts in his head that he didn't want anyone else to see.
"Oh, calm down, Babidi, darling. Just try not to think about your usual nonsense and focus on Black's aura, would you?"
Goasu closed his eyes, and Babidi could feel the Kai prying deep into his head without him physically having to do it. He was focusing on the thought that Beerus had instructed, on the undeniable similarity between the auras that he had observed. The Supreme Kai of Universe 10 opened his eyes, seeming to confirm their suspicions.
"These are nearly identical. But my Zamasu couldn't have done that." "That doesn't mean he wouldn't do it in the future."
Beerus looked Zamasu deep in the eyes, considering himself lucky that he got to live, as the Kai was trying to wriggle out of his grasp like a trapped eel.
"If anything, Lord Beerus, you are reinforcing my views against mortals. Once a mortal, always a mortal. You gods of destruction stole your godhood from us. You're planning a rebellion against us, aren't you?"
"Oh yeah, you're immortal too, Lord Beerus. I never really thought about that, huh?" thought Goku. He was just completely happy with the realization that, hey, Beerus and he were relatable in a way.
"Be quiet, you fool!"
Zamasu was getting increasingly irritated.
"Enough, Zamasu! Tell me, have you had any dangerous thoughts recently? For your own sake, I want to help you, my boy."
Goasu was incredibly tense. The younger Kai just glared at them all. Babidi was an eye-opener, Master. Mortals are constantly prone to cycles of war and destruction. They do not deserve our care. They will do the same thing over and over and over until the end of history. And it will always end in blood and tears. Hey, come on, we're not all that bad, Goku tried to reason with him. But Zamasu was still not treating him like a person at this point, more like an annoying insect. His master looked visibly saddened.
"Oh, Zamasu, oh, how I failed you." He looked around. "It seems like we might have averted a truly terrible chain of events, you lot. But I beg of you, Lord Beerus, we cannot simply erase this boy for having foolish thoughts. Surely you yourself would have foolish thoughts, and yet you wouldn't erase yourself. He hasn't done anything yet. Please, let us try to talk to him and see if we can help him out."
Whis looked at Beerus. "I do usually try to remain neutral in matters such as this, Lord Beerus, but if we just go ahead and erase him, this could end up in a possibly diplomatic issue, which could be brought to the attention of the Omni King and the Grand Priest, my father." "Yeah, I don't think Zamasu's such a bad guy, but we'll have to do something with him," Goku was saying, scratching his head, clearly confused as to what to do next. Clearly it wasn't going to be involving fighting, unfortunately. Beerus didn't like the mention of his superiors at all. He pondered for a while, before speaking his next words.
"We'll take him to my planet until we're sure that everything has been dealt with. Maybe the future has already changed and we've already prevented the massacre. But just in case, Babidi will be watching him. Always.
What? Him?
Babidi and Zamasu yelled almost in unison.
Me? Guarding a powerful guy with genocidal tendencies? What is Beerus even thinking?
Babidi was thinking to himself.
Oh, back in the day, I could possibly attempt to double-cross him after teaming up with him, but not now.
I appoint the wizard as my official representative from now on. He has the power to contact us telepathically wherever we are. Wherever you go, he goes. And if I don't get a report from him once an hour, or if he doesn't respond to me and Whis directly, I'll consider him dead. And if he's dead, that means you're dead. You're fair game for me. Are we clear?
Zamasu tried to act cool, but it was obvious that he was scared of the cat. Who wouldn't be in this position? Yes, Lord Beerus, he said quietly and begrudgingly.
Are you sure this is a good idea, Lord Beerus? I've watched this one's thoughts, and they aren't very...
Hey, those are private! Oh, that's a good opportunity for him to show us how trustworthy he can be, right, Babidi? It's only for your own good.
Yes, Lord Beerus.
Good. Now we'll get you back to my planet. Meanwhile, we should visit the Omni King anyway. He wants something from Goku, of all people. And will probably want to see you too, wizard.
Zamasu looked disgusted at this whole prospect, while our potato-headed protagonist was equally terrified. He was thinking that maybe he could play his cards right and gain an upper hand, but it was before he was tasked with watching a being more dangerous than himself or anybody. If only they hadn't done this, he could have maybe smooched up to the Omni King and then something. Now he was a babysitter.
It just isn't my day,
he was thinking. As we transported them to Beerus's planet, they were in total silence. It was Babidi who broke said silence.
So, what exactly have you got planned?
He asked. I don't have to talk to you, despicable mortal, Zamasu replied.
Oh, don't worry, please. I get that a lot. Come on. It's just me. Spill it out. Between magical brethren.
I am not spilling. Your god's ideas are ridiculous, Zamasu said.
Babidi rolled his eyes again.
The other you stole Goku's body and basically annihilated most of the mortal life and probably killed his Goasu. Besides, Babidi, have you had any other murderous thoughts lately?
He asked. Wow, for a private investigator, he was terrible. Well, if you must know, I was thinking about killing that Goku person earlier, if that's what you mean, Zamasu said reluctantly.
Ah, I see. I could relate to that. I wanted to kill him once. That's not a bad plan, actually. But we should wait until we talk to the Omni King, yes? He might have something else in mind.
Zamasu was confused as where Babidi was going with this. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right, Zamasu said grudgingly. Maybe getting the wrong end of the stick here. But I won't make any promises.
Of course not. We'll just have to wait and see what the Omni King wants.
Yes, Zamasu said, looking disgusted, but then realizing what Babidi was doing. Oh, what? No! Of course not! I would never! Why do you insist on goading me like this? Zamasu stammered. Babidi smiled internally. Oh, he had gotten him to ask questions and engage with him. That was good. He had him now.
Well, because he had a time ring, silly. And I don't think that this old mentor of yours would simply give it up willy-nilly.
You know nothing. I am a divine being of high moral. You, on the other hand, are a traitorous wizard. What kind of creature are you even supposed to be? Some kind of vegetable?
Potato, actually, but that's besides the point. I'm more like a homunculus. My creator wanted me to continue his work after he was done for,
Babidi replied, but Zamasu scoffed at this. I have no interest in your petty plans, fool. I am above such things. You think you may have gotten the upper hand against me, but you're wrong. I am a being of pure goodness, unlike you.
You may think you're better than me, but I have a few tricks up my sleeve. And when the time comes, I'll make sure you see it my way.
You're merely an artificial creation of another mortal, a mere shell. Such things should never be allowed to exist in the first place. But Babidi was not moved by his insults. He had heard worse before. It seems that his time with Piccolo had indeed started to have some effect on him, on his level-headedness.
Oh yes, big words from someone who is basically a fruit. You people are also grown for a certain purpose, you know. So you see, we're not so different, you and I.
Zamasu growled at him.
I was made by another wizard to continue his work. You were born from a golden fruit, from a tree, to carry on, what was that? Someone else's work. Duties of another Kai that you will one day replace. Pretty much the same. Goku would totally kick your butt anyway if he wanted to.
He knew that he had to press the Goku button here. Mortals should never be granted this kind of power. He is an abomination! They are not capable of handling it responsibly. It's a danger to themselves and others. It is not their place to wield it. I think that the universe would be better without mortals. So what? Let's imagine that this other me that you speak of is there, eliminating mortals. You people are despicable, horrible, and violent. Babidi chuckled.
Believe me, I know we are. We're pretty damn bad. But the thing is, what would your big plan be?
To purge the universe from the impurity of mortal life! Haven't you been listening?
I'll stop you right there, chum. Do we count animals and plants in that impurity? Well,
what? Zamasu looked as if he'd lost his angle here.
because animals and plants are technically mortals as well. And even though you'd be going after sentient species, I get that. There is a chance that some of the animals and plants out there that you spare could in fact gain sentience eventually.
Then I will trim them as well. I can spare the plants as they are pure and...
See, here's the problem. I don't know how you feel about your birds and the bees, but most plants sort of need animals to survive. Organic waste and such. When we die, what remains should go to the soil, which then goes to the plants. Sure, not all plants, but it would take eons for so many of them to adjust to new surroundings.
I wish to become eternal. I would wait.
But even if you waited for eons, you still wouldn't be able to achieve your goal. The universe is vast and complex, you see, and there are countless species of animals and plants out there that you would need to wait for. You would have to eliminate them in order to truly purify the universe. Otherwise, you would consider your plan a failure. And even then, there is no guarantee that your plan would succeed. The universe is constantly changing and evolving, and new species are being constantly born. No matter how long you waited, there would always be new life forms birthed for you to contend with. Whatever you did would only be a temporary solution at best. And in the end, all of your efforts would be for naught. A thankless job. And besides, no one hates mortals more than other mortals. I also understand about having plans, believe me. I want these people to bend the knee before my power, but power is just dumb if you have no one around in which to witness it.
I don't have time to listen to your lies. Zamasu's skin became a darker shade of green after hearing all of this. He wanted to punch the stupid wizard in the face, but something in his words stopped him in his tracks. Babidi felt a certain sense of satisfaction at this, as if he were experiencing what Piccolo felt every time he won the debate against him back in the day. Ooh, it felt good to make Zamasu speechless. I just feel that it's unfair, the Kai continued. It's unfair that we, gods by design, aren't allowed to act as gods of destruction in our own right, who are born as mortals. And it's unfair that the likes of your son Goku are even able to touch me, that they are invited by the Omni King, the king of everything, whilst most of us can only dream of seeing him one day.
And I think you're just starting to realize that you've almost done something really, really dumb. That other version of you might be past the point of no return, but you still have a chance to get back on track. If you wish to redeem yourself, I can help you there. But slaying all the mortals just for the sake of it is just plain dumb. Besides, you'd be disappointed to see me actually impressed by your plan. Anyway, to your point, do you really think this is a mortal problem? Or a god problem? If you gods can't even stand up to Son Goku, and let's face it, Beerus could still mess him up easily, that means that maybe you've grown a little too complacent. Maybe you don't command as much respect as you should. I know our Supreme Kai certainly doesn't. Instead of blaming us mortals, maybe you should get off your butt and become better yourself. I may have been stripped of most of my power, but I haven't given up. I'm still seeking ways to increase my magical ability. Those pesky Saiyans, oh, they're training all the time just to become better and stronger. They may be idiots, but I cannot deny that they command respect. What about you? You're just gallivanting around meadows and sipping tea.
How dare you speak to me like that?
Go ahead, hit me. But that would only prove that you're as violent and short-tempered as you claim us mortals are.
Zamasu stared at his fist in disgust, his anger dissipating.
I know it sucks to have someone talk you down and point out the flaws in your plan. I've been there, I've done that. But a little introspection can go a long way, my boy, trust me. My plans were foiled too.
And with that, the conversation ended. Zamasu didn't feel anger towards Babidi in the end, only sadness. He was right. Meanwhile, the wizard internally radiated with pride. It was the first fight ever that he had truly won. After some time, and when they got to Beerus' planet, Beerus showed them the score.
All right, you two, the show isn't over. It seems that the other Zamasu is still at large, so we're taking you two to the future as a cautionary tale. Was he behaving, Babidi? Any homicidal thoughts?
Babidi looked at Zamasu, who gave him an angry and grim look.
No, he was rather disappointed actually by the actions of his future self. I believe he was being honest, Lord Beerus.
A brief look of surprise could be seen on Zamasu's face. Babidi gave him a knowing look, as if to say,
don't forget what I did for you there.
All right, stay close. We're about to witness the finale. And Zamasu, if you double-cross us, even though I'm not going to intervene with your future self, I will gladly get rid of you.
Zamasu just shook his head and, together with Babidi, approached the gods. Then they all vanished. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.